Coming to you live from wherever the heck Jeremy wants to bring it to you from. This is Live with 55. That is the jankiest intro video ever, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Me neither.
I remember creating that channel like in the parking lot after I worked out, or that intro. I was in the parking lot at Planet Fitness. About to go live to talk about some stuff. I was like, I need to get my own intro, and I did. And you can see me adjusting the volume on the screen. I was like, you know what? That's vintage. We're going to leave it like that. Welcome, everybody, to a special Tuesday night, and we're going to come to you on Tuesday nights for the next couple of weeks throughout the rest of the college basketball season. Live with 55, brought to you tonight by the Mossy Oak Properties, Hart Realty. Our guy Paul Thomas out there. We appreciate him sponsoring the chat line already. Corey, what's good? John Lindeman, what's good? Fabian, what is going on? Here tonight, we got a bunch of topics to talk about. This is kind of where we do like all the rapid fire stuff that we don't get to spend enough time on Sundays when we do the CSZ podcast. A lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Let me introduce my co-hosts. There are 5 of them tonight. The first co-host, he's got the keys to victory. It's our guy, Wes Keys.
What's up, everybody?
Underneath him, pause. He's the man that really don't need any introduction. If you're on social media and you see people getting bullied all day, it's probably him doing it. It's our guy. He ain't right. He's left. It's our guy Jeff Left in the building.
What's going on, Card Nation? What up, Jeremy?
What's up? Dwayne Cross, Robert Hope, premium subscriber Robert Hope, premium subscriber Corey Massey. Appreciate y'all. TJ in the building. Antron, what's good? No, Higgy doesn't count as 2. If you've seen the shot we had of him earlier, he counts as 3. It's himself and lefty, righty. It's our guy, the notorious HIG. What's good, Higgy?
What's good, everybody?
Hey, keep the camera right there. We don't want to see Nathan else tonight, but that beautiful face.
That ain't what I'm cooking over here?
Too much breast in the picture. That's all I'm going to say about that. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. First off, I want to implore you all to check out the 200th episode of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. It was a milestone. Cardinal Forever DeJuan Wheat was on with us. 93.9 Steve Rummage. Guys, I showed y'all a clip of one of our very first shows we did 11 years ago. Steve looked young. I looked like how Higgy looks now. I was very unhealthy at that point, and it was a good time. We had a good time. We got the host of the show so flustered he forgot the name of the show, and he called it the name of our show, which was real funny. But look, obviously he's eating well in Nashville, says John Lindeman, of course. This is getting PG-13 with all that side move, says John Lindeman.
PTV side move.
Hit the uneffing believable button. Well, this is Live with 55. We don't do it on the mixer, so we don't have that. So we'll just go ahead and throw you up on the screen saying it. Chris Curry, hey, Bird Gang, what's good, my man? Lots of stuff to talk about tonight. Again, check out CardinalSportsZone.com. You can go. It's the 200th episode of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast with Steve Rummage and DeJuan Wheat. You can find it on YouTube. It's the last thing we uploaded. Really easy to get to it. This week's episode of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast is going to come to you at the same. Last week we had a little scheduling conflict because it went on during the women's basketball game. We were unaware that it conflicted time-wise. This week we're going to go on right after the women's basketball game. They play at noon. We're gonna still stay at our regular time at 2:00, but we'll if there's overtime, we'll go on after that, and that'll be myself, Sam, Joey, Dalton, Higgy, and who am I forgetting? Oh, Sean, the Virgin. Sean. Okay. Sometimes I forget. So I don't forget he's a virgin. Sometimes I just forget Sean. So it is what it is. We got that out of the way. Listen, guys, we have got the Notre Dame. Let's jump right into it. Notre Dame Fighting Irish tomorrow night at 7:00 at the KSC Yum Center. You can find that on the television set at ESPNU. Notre Dame is 9-16 on the season, doing just a little bit better than us. They are 2-3 in their last 5 games. They beat Georgia Tech by 3 their last game, and they were able to solve the Virginia Tech problem the game before that. They are averaging. It looks like Higgy did these. Okay, they're averaging 61 points a game. They are giving up 65 points a game. Their defensive rating is 100 even. and that's 102nd out of all the schools. Their leading scorer is Marcus Burton with 16.2 points per game. Second leading scorer is Braden Shrewsbury at 9 points per game. Third leading scorer is J.R. Koneski. I should put that up there for Higgy to spell later, or to say later. He'll never get that. And the fourth leading scorer is a familiar name to Card Nation, former Cardinal commit Tay Davis, averaging 8 points per game and tied for second in total rebounds a game at 5.5. This is not an unwinnable game. It's at home. We've been playing at the first part of the year. We played better away. This part of the year, it feels like we play better at home. I'm going to ask y'all for y'all's predictions here in a second. The ESPN predictor has us at. Let me go ahead and get to that. I had it pulled up, but it is what it is. It has tomorrow's probability. It has us winning the game, but it only has us as a 53% to 46% favorite. Our leading points per game guy, Mike James, 13.5, shooting 40% from the field and 81% from the free throw line. We're averaging more points per game, but we're also we are giving up 5 more points per game than we're averaging, but we're averaging 12 points scored more per game than they are. So it shouldn't, knock on wood, it shouldn't be too much of a battle. Yeah, thank you. They're 2-3 in their last 5 games. We're also 2-3 in our last 5 games.
Yeah.
If there's a line yet, there's no line yet. Higgy, we're gonna go to you. Okay, where did he? Okay, Jeff, we're gonna go to you first. Give me a score prediction for tomorrow night.
Can I ask a question first?
Absolutely.
Who are we going to have available for tomorrow night?
Great question. Great question, and that's the point I was going to get to next. The availability issues are, you know what? Here's the best thing about being friends with people that are up there. You can just ask. So I'm just going to live text Coach Redacted. I won't say his name. It's definitely not Coach Left Titty, Higgy. Let's see. So we're just wondering about Tylor.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that makes all the difference right now.
I agree, bro. 1,000%.
All right, so we'll do that. So the availability, that's the next topic, and then we'll go back to predictions in a second. Availability issues, and Wes, we'll go to you on that really quick. Do you think that the injuries that are being sustained, are they because we're practicing? Are they being over practiced? Is it just freak accidents? How do you feel about that?
I feel like probably just freak accidents, like Sky's rib and.
Now we saw that happen, much like Sky's injury hip pointer in the Clemson game. We saw those happen in game, but these other injuries we've been piling up throughout the season have been in practice, like Trey's injury, JJ's injury, Tylor's injuries.
It's like, I believe we practice hard, but at the same time, I feel like they're freak injuries. Just move something wrong or do something wrong and something happens. I mean, because we know Coach does run them a lot. But outside of that, I think it's pretty much just freak injuries, because I don't think half of that will come from running. Like, unless they're getting extra physical, like going up against each other.
Now, I can tell you 1,000% from being around the program, and when I worked for Coach Patino, he absolutely busted their butts every day. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. We already know that.
Injuries were not uncommon. Let's get to the Mossy Oak Properties chat line. Hey, 55, are you getting up on 5 a.m. Saturday for the pay-per-view? You already know I love wrestling. I will be up. Chris Curry says, hey, Bird Gang. What's up, Chris? Higgy is the Nash villain. Put some respect on his name. I'll put some respect on his name when he – never mind. Justin McCord says, what's good, CSC family? Albert Cross, evening, gents. Fabian Bradley, I'm not worried about win or losses. At this point, it's a wrap. I wouldn't be so sure about that, Fabian. I know you hate to hear me say that, but it's about 50-50 right now. Cashmere says, fam, what's up? And you can listen to whoever. There's a lot of people out there that are pushing their own narratives. This is over. This is not over. by any means.
It is very much up in the air.
Chris Curry says Shrewsbury has ties to Jeffersonville. This game is personal. Okay. And Dwayne Cross says they're going hard in practice. Absolutely. Let's see if my phone did just went off. It's my cousin. By the way, if you all know my cousin Jonathan, I've said this before. He is starting up his own podcast, and he's done spaces for the first two. He's doing 2 more spaces, and they're going to launch the same type of deal that we have going on. And it just goes to show how much he pays attention to my life, because he was like, I didn't know you worked for Coach Pitino. I absolutely worked up there for 2 years when Terrence Farley and Perrin Johnson were there. And I had a great time up there with all those guys. That's why I'm such good friends with Jerry and Edgar and Earl and all of them. So you just made me flex on you, cuz, and that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to help you out. I slapped you down to the floor. Now I'm going to lift you up. His Twitter is, I think, Jay Williams, ECHS. He's the principal at Edmonson County High School. And him and his buddy Joseph, well, I say buddy, one of the students there, an aspiring podcaster, blogger, vlogger like we are, came to him with an idea about doing it, and he knew I had expertise in the area, and he reached out to me, and I'm more than happy to help him out. He's family. Y'all know I help everybody out, whether they're family or not, but I feel like I've already got him a graphic for the show. He's asking me questions every day. I love it, and I'm glad to help him out. But yeah, we'll when it comes closer to him launching that show, actually streaming wise, if you're a fan of Kentucky high school, not just Louisville high school sports, if you're fans of all over the region and all over the state, that you will want to tune into that show. Jonathan has a lot of connections in Southern and Western Kentucky, and he's going to get a lot of top talent on from a lot of those. I mean, you could tune in anywhere here in the city to listen to the local talent, but he's going to have more of a state like flavor. So make sure you tune into it. It's going to be a good, I would not associate myself with it if I didn't think it was going to be a hit. And even with Jonathan doing it, I still have faith in it. So it is what it is. Dwayne says, yes, I have a feeling there's a third year. Fabian says, the only thing I'm going to pay attention to is the individual improvement and who continues to play hard in the games. Joe D. Oh, what's good? This is Jonathan's student. This is Joe.
Okay.
What's that?
No, I said, okay. You said his students in the chat?
Yeah, his student. Joe D is his student. He's also the co-host of the show. I'm not going to call it that because the name of your all space is stupid. The J Will, nobody's ever called him J Will, and I'm not calling him that either. They've got a really good name for the show once it goes streaming. Right now, I call it Dumb and Slightly More Intelligenter. It's going to be a good show. But Joe, thanks for tuning in. You'll kind of see what we do here. Keep the flow going. And I like Joe's got he's got a very good. Jesus Christ! Like I'm doing. Jonathan, I'm doing a show. Okay, bye, heifer. Okay. Give him a shout out. He wants to call me. That's real professional. But see, even in that matter, the show still went on. But yeah, Joe, we're gonna have you on here on the show here in a couple weeks, right before y'all launch. I'm not answering your call, Jonathan. I just put him on silent, so we're good. Hey fellas, hope all is well, says Chad Brocky. So yeah, all is well. But okay, let's do it this way. Since we're waiting on a text from Coach, or I'm sorry, from Redacted, let's say everybody's available that can be available except Sky. Jeff, what do you have tomorrow night? What do you have the outcomes being? And then we'll fix it. Not to interrupt you, but we'll fix it if we get information throughout the show. If he hits back and he's like, yeah, Tyler, Manny, Montrez, Siva, they're all out, then we'll readjust our expectations. But as what we know right now, who's going to keep playing?
I think this is going to probably be a high scoring game since defense will probably not be a factor. And I think we'll out rebound them. So I'm gonna say we win this game 65-73.
Okay, I don't hate that. Higgy's left boob.
I got 2 different answers. I thank you.
Does he get to get 2 answers since he has? Never mind.
79-68 cards.
What was it? 79-68?
69-68 cards.
You know, Higgy, you and no, never mind. I'm done. I'm sorry. We're not gonna. It's not gonna pick on Higgy. We've already done that enough. Wes, what about you?
95-87 cards.
95-87 cards.
Yeah.
Don't seem
Gosh.
far fetched.
Hey, even being shorthanded like the FSU game, bro, we scored 100. So nothing's out of the realm.
Man, that's lofty, but I respect it. You know, it is what it is. I'm gonna go. What I wrote down was 74-62 Louisville.
Okay.
They always. I think it's gonna be closer than that. But whenever I'm in the building, sitting there courtside, they show out, they win, and that's kind of a flex, but not an intentional one. But we'll be in the building tomorrow night. Wes, I think you're gonna be in the building tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Or are you going to get bit by a dog on the way to the game or something weird?
I thought he got.
Somebody put
bit by a spider.
unbelievable in the chat again, please.
Like, you just never know. Wes lives the most
No,
interesting life of all of us. Every day, it's something new that happens to Wes. So, barring like a mailman comes and robs him for his tennis shoes tomorrow, he's going to be at the game right there with me. And Teresa. Hi, Teresa. And we're going to have a good time there at the game.
Not a mailman taking my shoes.
Love you too, Jonathan. Okay, so also, if you're going to go to the game tomorrow night, man, you need to take advantage of a great deal. And that great deal is Bear Nose on Market Street. They've moved it. It was right across that busy intersection on Main, and they moved it up. And so right now it's across the street from Old Spaghetti Factory, and plenty of room. Great prices, great food. Tell our guy George that the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast sent you, and we appreciate that's going to help. But we're on a trial basis with George, so if he gets enough CSZ census, then he'll re-up with us during football season. So make sure you let them know Cardinal Sports Zone sent you, Jeremy Wyman sent you, or Higgy's left side boob sent you, and it'll get you it'll help us out. So please do that. Chris Curry says, hit those likes, y'all. 55 is our guy. Appreciate that. Chat line. Give us your predictions for the game tomorrow night. We'll read that out. Chad Brocky, we're going to talk about that here in a second. Corey Carson gave you your uneffing believable, Wes.
Thank you.
Report says 68-59 Louisville. I don't think any of us see a situation, barring if we get that availability report an hour before tip-off and Tyler's still not playing and there's an additional injury, I don't think any of our guesses stick, right?
They're out the window. Automatic.
Okay. All right, just making sure that nobody tries to hold us accountable for that, because we are talking strictly as if that
we have a point guard.
Right. That would absolutely.
That we have the point guard.
He's the most
the point guard, y'all.
He's the most erratic player that I've ever seen. A lot of people like to compare him to Russ. I don't think that's a fair comparison, because Russ's freshman year, he hardly ever got in.
Yeah.
And when he did get in, he got pulled real quick. That's why he was about to transfer to Manhattan his sophomore year. And there was a meeting. It was Rick Pitino, Steve Masiello, Russ, and Troy Jackson. And Steve and Troy talked him, rest in peace, Troy, talked him into staying at Louisville, and thank God they did, because he blossomed into a player that we all love. Let's see. Robert Holt says, with Tyler, give me the card 78-73. So he thinks it's still going to be a close game. Cards haven't shown us anything to believe that it wouldn't be a close game, especially with us playing like we've ran out of gas in the second half the last couple of games. They've not been as complete as the ones, the stretch with Georgia Tech and Florida State and the other foes, and even against Duke. And speaking of Duke, this weekend we play Duke. Not this weekend. Wait a minute. Who do we play this week?
Isn't it this weekend?
I thought we played Notre Dame and Duke this weekend on Saturday.
Yeah, we played Duke Saturday.
Okay. Well, Tanner, you've made your first Higgy mistake, because you put in here that we play them Wednesday. So I need to check the time on that before I give y'all any information that is not correct, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a Higgy. It is. Well, no. No, it actually is not incorrect. We don't play this weekend. We play tomorrow.
Oh,
So you know what? I'm gonna do something I've never done before, especially with Higgy, and I'm gonna apologize. And I don't know why I second guessed you anyway. A week from tomorrow night.
okay.
So we don't play this weekend. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
play Notre Dame tomorrow night, and then we play 1 week from tomorrow. So we'll have some rest in between. So if there are some lagging injuries,
Okay, that's good.
up between, we'll be at Cameron Indoor Stadium or Arena on the ACC Network next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Duke is 20-5 on the season. They are 4-1 in their last 5 games, with wins over Notre Dame, Boston College, Wake, and Florida State. They lost to North Carolina. They're averaging 80 points per game, giving up 67 points per game. Their leading scorer is Kyle Filipowski with 17 points. Jeremy Roach in second with 14 points. Jared McCain, 13.8. Kyle Filipowski, is Duke's leading rebounder at 8.3. But Mark Mitchell leads Duke in offensive rebounds at 2.2 per game. Guard Jared McCain has had 10-plus rebounds in 3 of his last 5 outings for Duke. Jeff, I want to ask you this question. Again, kind of getting ahead of ourselves, and we want to save some of this Duke talk for next Tuesday because that's what we're going to be previewing as Duke. But it is our ACC Saturday off. Correct, Albert. Thank you for that. Again, we'll get into more detail next week. I kind of just wanted to touch on Duke a little bit. Pause. With us playing Duke, I feel like Nolan had the scout for Duke the last time when we played them almost flawlessly. Now we still ended up losing, but everybody was calling for Duke's end of the season after they just barely beat us. I don't remember at this time what that score was, but it was a close game, and I believe it was even if they ended up pulling away from us at the end, it was 83-69. So they ended up beating us by 14. But we had that, if I remember correctly, we had it down to 7 points or 6 points with like 2 minutes left.
4 actually.
I think
we got it close.
I think you're correct there, and we had it pretty close and lost it because again we ran out of gas. We were in foul trouble as well. So yeah, absolutely. Chris Curry says defensive lapses keep our winnable games closer than they should be. I agree with that 4,000,000%.
Yeah.
Without getting too deep into it, because again, this is what we're going to focus on next Tuesday night. Do we expect to see something of the same against Duke with Nolan having the scout against them? With that being, it's going to be a special homecoming for him. No doubt there's going to be many signs in the crowd that are begging him to come back because of how he's being treated by some of the media here in Louisville. We won't get into that. But, Wes, I'll ask you this first. Do you kind of see a similar type of battle plan? Because their battle plan, you could tell, was very easy. They moved Trey down to the 4, so he didn't have to guard the 3 for Duke, and it was effective. We had a lot of screens. We hit our screens really well. Caleb and Brandon and Manny all did really well at screening off guys to grab.
I don't think Manny played that game.
I said I meant not Manny. Brandon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Brandon and Caleb were running screens really, really well. As far as screening people out to grab defensive rebounds, and they kind of neutralized Mitchell for a big portion of the game, and Brandon kept Filipowski in check. It wasn't like he didn't murder him like everybody thought that he was going to. We need to be up 15 at the half, says Albert. Tomorrow night or against Duke? Because it doesn't really matter against Duke. We've been up 30 on them at the half.
Oh God.
So let's but anyway, do you think that it's going to be a similar battle plan as far as the intangibles? Box out, grab offensive, defensive rebounds.
Yes.
And limit their star players.
Yes. And like we were just saying, get Brandon going immediately. Because he was giving Filipowski that work all game last game. Pause. But anyway, like, yeah, he was. They're talking about dude supposed to be a lottery pick. Brandon was killing him.
Isaiah Kelly in the building. What's good, my man? No, he did look better than
that. Huh?
Isaiah Kelly with a great point. Brandon looked better than Filipowski in that game.
Easy.
In honest opinion. I agree with that. So here's where I'm at, and Jeff, I'll get to your thoughts on it. Here's where I'm at with it. It feels like to me that's that's going to be your typical receipt game. And what I mean by that is we're down there, we're at their house. Brandon's going to have 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes of the game. We're going to lose by 20. Even with a great game plan, I don't have a whole lot of faith. And it's only because we're limited on our roster. I see a lot of people talking about, well, we didn't have a full roster, or we did have a full roster at the beginning of the year, and we still. Well, the facts are with the young team, and I think I've seen this somewhere. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Not you, Higgy, not you, Higgy's bottle of water, who's doing a really good job at co-hosting the show, probably better than Higgy normally does. But I believe we're the 3rd youngest team in college basketball, and anybody that's played basketball on any level can tell you sometimes it takes a half a season. I don't think anybody, unless they're just trying to be ignorant, can dispute the fact that this team looks better the second half of the season. Like they've gelled, they've learned each other, they're doing a lot better. No, they don't have more wins, but we're playing against better competition than we did the first half of the season. Albert was guessing he was talking about tomorrow night we needed to be up 15 as a half. Jeff, what about you?
So I want to give a little bit of good with the evil here.
Okay.
So I remember telling y'all last game that we had a good chance against Duke because Cal Filipowski isn't the best defender. Yeah. So I figured Brandon could go to work on the block. The thing is last game, Brandon didn't have a sub. So when Brandon went out, Caleb had to play the 5, and then you had to move Trey to the 4, and they kind of played a little bit of bully ball at the end of the game. I think us having Manny to where Caleb and Zan can stay at the 4 and Brandon and Mandy can play at the 5 will help us. My only thing is with the lineup we have, especially without Sky, Mike and Trey they struggle guarding the perimeter against quicker guards. And Duke has a lot of quick guards. Jared McCain, Caleb Foster, Jeremy Roach. So I think we have to win the battle of the bigs and the rebound battle. And then we got to try to limit Duke to tough 2s and not a bunch of 3s because they can shoot the ball really well.
Absolutely. Chris with a great point. If Manny can give us anything, it will be helpful. Okay, Higgy and all of his friends just popped out. Oh, he's back in. Well, he don't get to be put back where he was. He's in the back of the line now. And then Mark, Mark's he's the guy in here. We love Mark, but he's always kind of the rain on our parade. Love you, buddy. But he said we just lost by 27 points to a bubble team. And yes, we did. We lost by 27 points to a team without Tyler, without Sky, without JJ, without a lot of people. And I know what you're going to say. I know what your rebuttal is. But this team has not got a chance yet, really, to show. Higgy, if your phone buzzes again, I'm kicking you out of the chat.
I ain't going to lie. That was me.
No, see, that's the first rule of radio. You always blame it on the other person.
Oh,
especially,
okay. I'm sorry.
Joe, if you're still watching, always blame everything on Jonathan. It goes a lot easier that way. Yeah, I just don't. Higgy, do you have anything to talk about with the bottles even left about the Duke game?
I'm in agreement. So
okay, Higgy, wait till you swallow. Chew and swallow, big boy. Come on.
I was going to say, Filipowski didn't have his best game. And at the same time, we didn't have anybody who could sub Brandon. So if we have Manny and stuff to be able to play, we'll see what happens.
Very, very good insight there. Again, we're going to break down this game a lot more next week. We got some exciting news today, and let me talk about a couple of other things really quickly before we get to our main segment. Albert Cross Art in the building. What's good, Al? Oh, you're on, man. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. He is dedicated to us. We appreciate that. He's actually the guy that did our outro, our video outro.
Okay.
Okay.
So we appreciate that, Albert.
All right.
Let's talk about the Champions Classic women's basketball. It was announced this week. It's going to be Louisville, UConn, Tennessee, and Iowa. The Iowa one, I don't really get. I think it should have been Stanford probably. If you're doing the 4 best women's basketball teams of the last 30 years, I don't think Iowa, when I think of that, I think they're just getting the rub there because of Caitlin Clark. And I'm cool with that. But once you look at the stats, Iowa's a little bit closer. And the tickets go on sale for that in March next month. It's going to be in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York on Fox. Again, it's UConn, Iowa, Louisville, Tennessee.
Next year, right?
Yeah.
Caitlin
this
won't be there, will she?
it'll be this year.
Oh,
Clark has
Next
your ability.
it'll be next season, but this year.
okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
probably
Caitlin Clark coming back?
I don't
know.
No, I'm just saying that they're getting the notoriety. They're getting the push there because of her, not because they belong in there.
But I don't even want to play him if she's not playing. I need revenge. She beat
Facts.
us in the what? Elite Eight?
Yeah.
She did us bad. But here's the records of all the teams since 1981. Louisville's got 915 wins, 9 regular season championships, 4 conference champions, 4 Final Fours. UConn in that same time. So we had 915 wins in that time span. UConn's had 1,981.
They was undefeated.
29-time regular season champion, 27-time conference tournament champion, 22 Final Fours, 11 natties. Like nobody really, and then you got to go to Tennessee because they're right there as far as prestige wise. Like what UConn was in the 2000s, Tennessee was in the 80s and 90s. 1,200 wins, 18-time regular season champions, 16-time conference champions, 18 Final Fours, just 4 behind UConn, 3 national championships behind UConn with Tennessee. And then you got Iowa, who has only been to 2 Final Fours, 5 conference tournament championships, and 885 wins. So they're not really that far. They're 30 wins behind us. So I guess they've been more stellar than we assumed.
I don't get that.
Yeah, but between the 4 teams, 4,980 wins, 66 regular season championships, 52 conference championships, 46 Final Fours, and 19 national championships. So that's going to be an awesome game. We want to shout out our guy really quickly before we move on to the next segment. Our guy Tanner Hickman, the stats guy. He wasn't able to join us live tonight. He's kind of our version of Joe from Jonathan and Joe's show. I'm not calling him Jay Will ever. Nobody ever has called him that, so I'm not going to start. But he's kind of our version of Joe. He makes everything run smooth, and he's competent, unlike my cousin. And I'm just kidding. So shout out to Tanner for getting all those good stats together for us. We really do appreciate it. Isaiah Kelly, great point. Our freshmen have grown and are much better. We're a better team than earlier in the season. If we had a full roster, we'd be a lot better because everyone would gel. Haters never mention that. No, because it doesn't fit their narrative at all. They just want this to be over with. They want it to be done. I'm here to tell you, as of right now, you can listen to whoever else. I'm not telling you to listen to me right now. And I've never led y'all astray in the past, and I'm not going to start now. It has not been decided what's going to go down yet. It is a 50-50 chance that he comes back. It's a 50-50 chance that he gets fired. As soon as I get the word that it's a wrap, we'll do an emergency pod that night here on Live with 55.
And
Chad Brocky says you still can't leave their best three-point shooters wide open like we have every game.
What up, Chad?
What's up, CB? Yeah, no, that's true. It's crazy. Measy, what's good? It's been crazy how it's like we don't practice defense in practice. And the amount of time we dedicate, I mean, I know why you're looking at me weird because of a comment I made off the record. But we need to – our offense has been okay the entire season as far as I'm concerned. There's been a couple times when there's been some stretches where we've struggled, but for the most part, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100 points. The offense is efficient, so to speak. The defense is not anywhere close to being efficient. And no, Anthony Easton, you are correct. We have not gotten better defensively. Nobody said that we've gotten better defensively, so I don't know what you're referring to. We're talking about how our freshmen, and I will say that I think that the defensive struggles are all falling on, and I hate to call people out individually, and I won't say the name, but it's falling on the back of one person. It's always his guy that goes for 41, or let Chris Bell go all up in him, the other night, and whoever gets hot for the opposite team, one guy's always guarding them. So as a team, I refuse to grade the entire team's progress. And I'm not getting angry, Anthony. I'm just passionate about this. I will not grade the entire team's progress on one person failing the team. I refuse to do that. if we had somebody else that could play his position that had the potential he had, they'd be in there. But we don't because everybody got hurt.
Mhm.
Like I don't think he's even in the starting lineup if everybody's healthy. If I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Measy says freshmen struggle with defense always. And
Facts.
Mike James, no, absolutely not Mike James.
But
But
nah.
I can say the names anyway. It's not Mike. Mike James is like one of the gosh. Everybody's saying Mike James. No, it's not Mike James. Mike James is a warrior, man. He's the only reason we've been in some of the games that we won.
Yeah.
Like he go ahead, Wes.
My fault. I wasn't trying to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
But now my thing, if we did play some defense, if we were able to get some takeaways, with the way the offense has been running, Louisville would average 80 points a game easy.
Well, we're not far from that now. I think we're at
No.
75.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah,
averaging
maybe 85. Because if we could get some deflections and more takeaways and scoring transition, we could average 80, 85 a game easy.
I think a part of the defensive struggles is we do not have active hands on defense,
That's
especially in that pick and roll. Brandon kind of just holds his hands like he's about to do all you can, like he's about to do a Hadouken, instead of like, you know, when you stretch your arms out, it's hard to pass over that. And we just now, I say probably the last 4 to 5 games, I think, is when we finally started getting deflections and scoring off turnovers.
Absolutely. And Albert makes a great point. Mike plays D until he's worn out. You know why he's worn out? Because he's the only person that'll take the basket to the rim every time when everybody else is looking around being lazy. So I'm not gonna crap on him. Fabian says hope Glenn stays. I really like his upside and improvement. I agree with you. I'll just be honest with you. I was one of the guys coming into this season. I followed Caleb on the EYBL circuit the prior year in Orlando, in Indianapolis, and here in Louisville. And I think it's okay for me to say this because I bought into him at this point, but at that point I was like, I just don't see it. He's got bigger. Now, granted, I feel like he's a true 4, and he was a 5 in high school. And sometimes you get those smaller, shiftier guys that can maneuver you into foul trouble. And he was in foul trouble a lot in the EYBL. But I
trouble for us.
Yeah, I become you're tracing the problem. Stop it. I am tracing the problem on defense. Mike
Chris.
Up a lot of threes. He always plays off his man, playing for the drive. Okay, that's again. I'm not gonna sit there, street fighter terms for what we do on defense. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate y'all's opinion, and my opinion is not going to be the same as y'all's all the time. So that's the biggest difference between our shows and other shows. They will condemn you for having a different opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. Sometimes you all show me things that I don't see. So I do appreciate that. And I'm never going to condemn. Yeah, hands off. I know what you mean, Chris. I'm not going to condemn you for having a difference of opinion. So nothing but love for Mike, says Albert Cross, by the way. Spring game of football. We'll go on to the next topic real quick. Spring game of football is April the 19th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it a Saturday?
Friday,
April the 19th.
the Friday before Thunder, as usual.
So that's
We
right.
are?
Because
That's the way they did it You feel what I'm saying? That's the way they did it last year. It should be right on pace again, if I'm not wrong.
absolutely. Here's the great part about that. I am going on kind of a sabbatical the last 2 weeks of April. So I'll be going to the spring game, and then I'll be going to decompress for a couple weeks in an undisclosed location.
Brother, little R&R.
A little bit, man. It's been rough. Measy. Chad says, heck, I was going to say Trey White. I'm not going to say you were right, but I'm not going to say you were wrong either. We'll put Measy's comment up here on the board, and we appreciate everybody chiming in on the Mossy Oak Properties Heart Realty text line. They are America's land specialists. I love doing that kind of stuff. If KP signs Carter Knox and we bring back this core, I like our chances versus starting fresh. That's the thing that a lot of people don't discuss. Everybody's very quick to usher, to sweep, if you will, KP out of here. But if he can land a commitment to Carter Knox, and there is also the rumor of a second guy coming with Carter that I do not want to speculate about, but apparently Kenny's been pulling rabbits out of his bleep for the last few months.
All that.
If you can bring those two guys back, brings the core of this team, the freshmen at least of this team back. You bring Brandon back, you get Sky to come back, and then you bring in. I've told you guys off record some of the guys that we are targeting via transfer portal, which is a big difference. I think y'all can agree. The transfer portal targets this year way different level than the ones we went after last year in Danilo and Karan. No offense to them, they're just next level type dudes. Yeah, Anthony, that's who I was trying to allude to without saying the name, because like I do interview these guys and I don't want to get a stank eye the next time I walk in there. But yeah, I agree. Mike Rainey with a great point. We get Carter Knox, a true experience 5, which Brandon Huntley Hatfield, if he returns to that point, will be a true experience 5. But some of the guys we've seen, y'all can attest to this, their highlights, their names, they're big names.
Yeah.
They're big players. And they will fit that narrative. An experienced point guard, again, you give these guys, you give your Sky and your Tylor another year. There's no telling how much they will advance. But again, some of the guys we've been hearing about behind the scenes
Would complement them very well.
Would complement them very well and would fit that mode of what you're wanting, what you're asking for, Mike. Anthony says if KP gets a third year, he needs to hire an assistant that can coach defense, get rid of Danny and Josh. Sorry, not sorry. Anthony, great point. So I was asked by somebody a month in the season, what do we have to do to save Louisville basketball? What would you do, Jeremy, to save Louisville basketball? And I gave him this was about 6 weeks into the season. I said 3 things. We have to consistently play better, which we've started to do. We've got to land Carter Knox, and we've got to fire everybody on that bench but Nolan. And here's the issue. I know y'all are going to say, oh, you're Nolan's friend, so that's why you're caping for Nolan. No, I know what he's being limited. I know how he's been handcuffed, how he's been limited since he's been here. I know if KP unleashes him, or let's just say KP's out of here and the next coach wants Nolan, like y'all are going to be impressed for what Nolan can do. It's crazy. There's stuff I'd love to tell you all right now, which I'm going to tell the guys after the show, but just the stuff that Nolan's working on now for either situation, the names he's got, if he stays, the names he's going to take with him, or not take with him, the names that are going to commit to him if he goes to another school, it's bonkers. It's what he should have been doing all along. But Kenny told him this past offseason he wanted to stay young. He didn't want any experience. And now you got Chris Bill and Keyshawn Hall going off. We could have had them, but instead we've got Powder. We got Gilbert Grape, and we've got Karan. I like to watch from the stands, Davis. So he should have listened to
his thing.
If KP gets a third year, 55 will kiss Higgy. No, I won't. No, I won't. Sorry, Higgy. No offense, Higgy. I won't do it. I'll do anything for love and wins, but I won't do that. That's for sure.
Let's take a hard pause on that one, ladies and gentlemen, because they are wilding. Like what?
Let's take a pause on you saying hard pause.
Okay, 2 pauses.
2 claps. 2 pauses time.
He said 2 claps.
Anyway, I want y'all to do this for me while I do the rest of the stuff I got on the board here. And I always, just so y'all know the method to my madness, I got one of those boards that you can write notes on. It's like for your computer. So I got written on there for us to cover. It's the method to my madness. I want y'all to think I'm super like organized and just intelligent. No, I've got everything written down so I don't forget to talk about anything. We got baseball Wednesday against Xavier. It's free. The tickets are free 50. You just take your family, take your friends, take your friend's family, go enjoy some baseball at Jim Patterson.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
What time?
That's a great point because
Higgy.
Yeah, no, Higgy won't look it up because he's too busy playing with breasts. And I mean the chicken, not his own.
But nah.
So catch the baseball game first, then travel over to Bear Nose, grab you some food, and then head over to the basketball game at the Yum Center.
And there's added incentive. It will be 64 degrees tomorrow. It will be beautiful. Go enjoy some baseball and then hit the Yum later on that night.
Absolutely. My guy, IK, again, is KP listening to Nolan now? At least I'm assuming why they're playing better. Yeah, you can see on the sideline, he's asking Nolan for advice. He's asking Danny. See, I'm at the point now where I don't even know if Danny is a crappy coach or if I know what's going on in other situations. We've seen Brandon improve. We've seen Caleb improve. Is that because of Danny? Like, we don't know if he's letting everybody do their thing, and that's why things are getting better.
I always thought Josh was a numbers guy.
Fabian I love Fabian, but I'm going to let him go ahead. Y'all can read what he's got to say. Let me look this up. Wes, if you'll read his comment for us.
If Kenny made that decision to stay young after 4-28, then he should get fired at season's end, because to me that sounds like sabotage. Fair enough.
Well, not if he thought he was in the third season regardless, and he wanted those players to grow with these players. Like
that's what I was going to say. I mean, I understand. You got to understand fans want wins, but it's always good to build a solid core that you can add pieces to instead of just having to reset every year. So yeah, it's going to look ugly at first because it's growing pains, but next year you won't have that problem. And now you got guys who understand your system, understand how you want to play, understand each other's game, and understand what it means to play for Louisville. They know how to handle the pressure and everything else. So you got to do that.
Yeah, and go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like I've said before, I know I said last season was sacrificial. Maybe this one was too. But then on top of that, are we winning? Like I've said on the spaces, are we winning? No. But can you notice the development within players? Yes. You can notice the guys getting better over time. It's blatantly obvious.
And the baseball game tomorrow is at 3:00, so you go watch baseball. Go get some pizza at Barry Knowles. There's not a better quality value on the University of Louisville campus, any sport, than Louisville baseball. When it's non-conference, the games are free now. The games used to all be free, but then they started ticketing the conference matchups. You take your family, you sit there, you have a good time. Me and Trees used to take all the girls with us, and it was a free afternoon, 3 or 4 hour afternoon of entertainment. It was.
Don't forget about softball.
What's that?
Don't forget about softball. They're off to a hot streak right now.
Thank you, Higgy. That's next on my list. Why don't you worry about making a little chicken and eggs or whatever you're making? Softball team off to a phenomenal start, 10-1. They're on a 2-game win streak. They are 4-1 away. They have not played at home yet. 6-0 at neutral site play with wins over Georgetown. They beat Georgetown twice. They beat Florida Gulf Coast twice. Then they beat FIU 11-2 in 5 innings. They had to shut that one down quick. They beat FAU. They beat Seton Hall 12-4 in 6 innings, another early inning blowout. Then they lost 6-3 to FAU before turning around and blanking Maine 8-0 in 6 innings and beating National Power Michigan 2-0. Their next game is another neutral site game, or maybe it's an away game. I'm not really sure. They got Furman Friday at 10 a.m. at the Battle at the Beach. Okay, it is another neutral site. They'll play Furman on Friday, Coastal Carolina on Friday, Furman again on Saturday, and then Coastal Carolina again on Saturday. And then following that up on Sunday, the Battle of the Beach ends Sunday with a game versus Bowling Green at Conway, South Carolina. So we touched a little bit on all the sports. We got one big sport left, but I did want to go ahead and throw this out to the wrestling fans that are in the chat, because I did promise the Louisville wrestling support chat. I forgot what it's called. Actually, the Ringside Podcast Wrestlers chat. That I'm going to ask this question. And doing that. They wanted me to ask this question to the listeners, to the viewers. Who would you? And again, I know Wes, you follow wrestling. I don't think Jeff and Higgy does really. I know Phil. But Gunther is on a 620-day winning streak with the Intercontinental Championship, surpassing a record that was nearly 25 years old that was held by the Honky Tonk Man. his record is probably going to end this year. So Wes, I'll ask you this because I know you are a wrestling fan. And people in the text line, here's my 2 questions. If you're a wrestling fan, who would you have in Gunther's Intercontinental Championship streak? And when would you have it ended? Would you have it ended at WrestleMania for him to slingshot him away himself into the main event picture at SummerSlam? That's what I feel. I don't know yet who I'll put against him because the one person I was going to put against him got drafted to a different brand, got drafted to SmackDown, so it ended my theory on that. But I'll ask you, so in the chat, give me your score predictions for tomorrow night. Tell me who you would have in Gunther's historic, at that point, probably 700-day undefeated streak, holding that championship belt. Wes, who would you have in?
It has to be a guy with somewhat of a big name. Can I put? That's a tough question.
It is a tough
question.
You do want to either have it be somebody that's just right there on the cusp of being a main eventer, or you want to give it to a young. Like, I'll just give you my opinion. I was all for Braun Breaker being called up from NXT and ending the streak, but then he got drafted to SmackDown.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to Raw, but somebody like that would make his career. Just kind of like when Sheamus came up to the main roster, and 30 days later he beat John Cena for the heavyweight belt.
I'll never forget that.
Hi, everybody in Higgy's Kitchen.
Extreme Rules.
Yeah, it was a tables match. No, it was Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
It was Monday Night Raw.
Nah, it was at Extreme Rules.
No, it was at Monday Night. It was on a random Monday Night Raw. They had a tables match. I believe, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mind it. I mean, I do mind it, but I don't like it. Shout out to our guy.
John, you're frozen. I said, John. Jeff, you're frozen.
Me?
Yeah, you're frozen.
I can hear you, but your video's frozen.
Yeah, like you were stuck like in a wave. You were like with the hand motion just.
Am I still stuck?
As long as we can hear everybody, we don't act like there's anything wrong. We just, like the other day when we let Higgy look like he was constipated on the screen for about 45 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna say McIntyre, but McIntyre is main event in WrestleMania, so
well, he's not McIntyre. The slot for Cody Rhodes championship will be, or not Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins championship will be decided this Saturday in Australia at Elimination Chamber. LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton. Gosh, there's a couple more people. Oh, Jeff's.
Even though he's an already over the top guy, that would be another notch in Randy's belt to take the Intercontinental title in something legendary.
Well, that's not for the Intercontinental. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
No, I was saying like legend. You get what I'm saying? That'd be
for sure.
The industry like that for him, like that'd be awesome. But I mean,
I think it's gotta be LA Knight, and I know he's on a different brand.
Yeah,
but I think that would be something that would. He's been on. He's an older wrestler who just kind of. He's been in NWA and in Impact and TNA for all these years, and he finally made it to the big time, and he's exploded.
I could roll with.
What's that?
I could roll with LA Knight.
I think it's going to be LA Knight. I'm still going to throw Braun back in the mix, and even Jey Uso. I thought he was going to win the title last night, and he didn't. So, all right, we talked enough wrestling. It is what it is. Let's get to the meat. This is what we wanted.
Wait, Jeremy, wait.
What?
Cody has to finish this story.
Finish the story. Look, we'll do a WrestleMania preview. We'll see if hopefully the Ringside Podcast will be back up and running by then. We've all been really busy, and especially with me taking on the second show, and Daniel being promoted to Director of Operations at OVW. Congratulations to him. We've just not had a lot of time for Ringside Podcast, so that's why I've been trying to throw a little bit of wrestling in here on Live with 55, because we really talk a little bit about everything on this show. So what I want to see on the chat line, and we're gonna catch up on the chat line before we discuss this final topic. I want to see score predictions for tomorrow. I want to see who you would have. Let's put it this way. Who would you have defeat Gunther to take the Intercontinental title from him? Because we know that he's going to lose his title probably at WrestleMania, which is going to catapult him into the main event of SummerSlam against Seth Rollins or whoever the champion is for the Raw brand. And then thirdly, it's our final topic of the evening. We appreciate all of you all tuning in. We always say we're only going to do about 35, 40 minutes, and we look up, we're an hour deep, and it is what it is. But we will end the show on this topic. Today it was announced that the TBT was coming back to Louisville. We're going to have the Louisville Regional will match up against the Lexington Regional in a twist of fate there, no pun intended. Shout out to Jeff Hardy. If he's conscious, we don't know ever. But the Louisville Regional will match up against the Lexington Regional. And the first two names for the Louisville TBT team were released. It is none other than friend of the show and sponsor of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, Peyton Siva, and his main man, Montrezl Harrell. So what a dynamite addition. First, we kind of thought Peyton would be back, but Trez being added to the team makes that a monster team. Now, I asked you all earlier. So the third question I have for the group chat, and again, we're going to catch up to that before we all get into it. I'm going to give these three guys a few minutes to draft up their team. But I want you all to give me 5 starters and 2 bench players. The only caveat is they cannot be a current NBA player. They can play in the G League, which looks like it's about to be eliminated because of NIL. They can play overseas. They can play anywhere. So think about that. I'm going to go to the chat line and get caught up. Isaiah said KP is one thing, but I do think if we let Nolan go, we'll regret it. He got a top 5 class after a 4-win season. Dude is very talented. Absolutely. Anthony Easton says, at least Danny is staying awake during games now. Trust me, I have pointed that out a multitude of times. I still think Josh Jameson may be a hologram. I'm not sure he's a real person. Fabian says he can understand our point of view. Lee Newton from Orlando. Hi, family. Greetings from Orlando. Mark M says supposed to be warm tomorrow. Great baseball weather tomorrow. By the way, that's what he's saying. Jana says, did Tylor get a concussion in practice? Because I thought he was hurt in the Pitt game. And according to Peyton, he's been fighting a groin injury. No, he didn't play the Pitt game. He got hurt in practice because he played the game before Pitt, and he did not play the Pitt game. So either got hurt in the second half of that prior game or in practice.
He got smacked in the face, and he had to go to the back locker room. Y'all remember?
You're right. Who was that against? Was that Boston College?
Boston College, yep.
Yeah, okay. So, no, he got hurt in the Boston College game, Jana. Premium subscriber, Jana, I should say. Phil says just quite simply, he's tired. 50 losses in 2 years. Time to stick it in a burrito, throw it in the microwave, blow it all up. Jenna says, I would say they're probably more prone to injury because they're having to play the whole games because we lack a bench. Anthony Easton says he thinks Sami Zayn will be the one. I don't think that's a bad choice. Albert Cross gives us another 68 to 60 cards this time. Premium subscriber Robert Holt says he wanted R-Truth to win, but I think Sammy has a shot. Anyone but Logan Paul. Robert, I don't think you have to worry about that. He's on the SmackDown brand. TJ says R-Truth or Sami Zayn. No, I don't want Chad Gable at all. Chris says cards 73 to 66. There's somebody at my front door knocking in the middle of my... What is going on? Okay.
Probably somebody soliciting like me.
Oh, okay. Jeff, get away from my door. Okay, it worked. Oh, you know what? I bet that was Teresa coming. Yeah, it was Teresa coming in making all that noise. Love you. All right. We'll get to the chat line, but I want to ask first, Higgy, you've not said a whole lot this show, and we appreciate that. Who is your 5? And then we'll get to the chat line and ask them theirs. Who's your starting 5?
Can't be an NBA player.
Hi, Teresa. Who's your starting 5? Who's your bench? No.
So how many do I get for my bench, though? Again?
What?
How many do I get for my bench again? 1 big
2.
and 1.
You get 5 starters and 2 bench players.
Starting 5, center, Gorgie.
No, don't give me the positions. That's going to take too long.
Okay. Gorgie, Montrez, Francisco Garcia, Taekwon Dean, and Peyton Siva on the starting 5.
All right.
Bench players, I have Juan Palacios and Larry O'Bannon.
Okay. Stellar. Jeff, what about you?
I just want to say, Higgy, that was a real TBT team because those guys are older than I am.
That's what
Hey,
I
that
was
was my
thinking. I was like, can we
childhood
give
right
him
there.
this?
so
Yeah.
so the players we I don't have to pick Siva and Montrez, do I? Or yeah.
Yeah, you do because they're already there.
Y'all
Okay.
gotta say they're gonna start, bro.
Okay, so we got Siva. Oh, this is only Louisville players, not the old TBT team. Okay, so Siva.
No, you can draft anybody. Like last year, we had Chris Dow, and then that other
Okay,
big white.
that's what I was gonna say. Give me Siva, give me Trez, give me Nanu, give me Shane, give me. Hold on, you said so. I'm stupid. My bad. Okay. All right, Siva, Trez. I'm sorry, but I love Nick Mayo's game. I loved his game. Siva, Trez, Nick Mayo. Give me David Johnson.
Ooh.
And then I'll take David Johnson. I'll take Russ, but I got to start next to his name because I don't know what he's up to. And then give me Shane on the bench and give me Shane and Carlik Jones. I don't know if he's in the league
Okay.
right now or not.
Okay.
Nah, he's G-League mainly. I know he signed a two-way contract with the
Okay.
Bulls, but I
Yeah,
don't think he's on.
give me Carlico.
Yeah, the G-League MVP from last year.
Chad.
Um.
Yeah.
So,
Chad.
so for me, it would probably be.
Oh, hold on, Wes. How about
Siva.
Wes? Hold on. I didn't ask you anything yet.
Oh, sorry.
Just answering a couple of that. Y'all better get PK. Look, Preston Knowles wanted to play last year, and he was not contacted, so that would give a chip on his shoulder. So since you already started, Wes, go ahead, and then we got some great squads here on the chat line too. Oh my God!
Nah.
Go ahead! Oh my God!
Nah, but Peyton, Russ, Trez, if some way, somehow we could get him, Ice Cube, please let it happen. E5.
I'll just let you know a little secret. I talked to Earl this morning. Go ahead with your team though.
Probably throw Shane in the yeah, I could throw Shane in there just for rebounding. And off the bench, since it's a name everybody's pushing, Ryan McMahon. And the guy who's lighting up the G League right now, Malik Williams.
Great team.
Well, that surprised me. That last pick, that's a sleeper pick right there, Wes.
Hey, even though things are wild, like bro, seeing his stats in the G League, I was like, hold on, Malik is doing what?
Yeah, I think that.
Like it seems like every other game I look up and he's got like 30 points, 18 rebounds. It's stupid.
I was like, bro, where was this?
His foot injury, y'all. You gotta remember he had like 2 foot surgeries. That's tough to come back from.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Before I give mine, we'll go to the chat line. Chad Brocky says Siva, Russ, Trez, Gorgie, Dean. Yes, I'm playing 3 guards in my starting lineup, and I want Mayo and Dow back. That's a great point. Chris Curry says Josh Jameson is still more active than Trent Johnson, a.k.a. The Walking Dead. Okay. Anthony says Siva, Russ, Cisco, Trez, Gorgie, Shane, and Luke. That's a nice one.
Cisco is definitely the wild card.
Chad went back and said let him substitute 5 for Mayo, Earl. Robert says Siva, Damian Lee, but I think Lee's still in the league, as Chad points out. Sutton, Trez, Enoch. That's a good one. Start Cisco and Russ.
Oh, I forgot about Steve.
On the bench. Corey Massey, premium subscriber, says Siva, Russ, Trez, 5, Shane, Mayo, and DJ. Dwayne Cross just wants to play 7 Taekwon Deans, and I'm cool with that. Here's my so I'm gonna go chalk. I'm gonna go Russ and Peyton at the 1 and 2. I'm gonna have Earl at the 3. I'm gonna have Trez at the 4, and I'm gonna have Gorgie at the 5. My first bench player is gonna be Shinanu Anawaku because you saw him in the TBT last year. You saw how much he has improved and matured as a player, and he's just real physical, man. We need another Trez type dude to get in there and be a dog, offensively, defensively. And for my final pick, I'm not just doing it because he was just on the 200th episode of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, which you can find at cardinalsportszone.com. But DeJuan Wheat, man, he can still hoop. He can still ball. Don't let him go out there and shoot them threes. I think that would be a great time and a great TBT team. Did Larry O say he would play? I don't know, Corey.
That's a good one.
I think and I know that Higgy.
We have questions.
I'm about to kick Higgy out. He ain't even participating no more. If he did, he's got to be put in again. That's why I only. Oh, okay. Here comes Higgy. He came back. Oh, and he's got gloves. I don't know what you're about to. I don't want to know what you're about to do with those. But you've got the thing about this year's TBT team is you got a lot more eligible players in the pool. Like Montrez, I think Earl's going to try to make it a point to be available. He didn't tell me he was or was not playing when we talked this morning. I think Juan Palacios. Somebody named who named him? Wes, you did?
Nah, Higgy.
Oh, never mind. That's not a good point. No, Juan's been playing pro basketball since he got out of here. When did he get out of here? Oh, 5, 6, 7. In 2009 was his first year.
Reese Gaines.
What?
Somebody said Reese Gaines.
Man, hey.
Reese Gaines would be a good pick. Listen,
He can do
he'd be. I think.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure I saw Nolan Smith beat him in that 2v2 matchup. And he kicked the door and
I
left.
heard Reese got it back. I heard Reese got him back, though.
I gotta see it.
You can't go wrong with any of those. And this is going to be the deepest. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say the deepest. It's going to be the deepest talent pool for the TBT that we've ever had, with the additions of the guys that are no longer in the NBA or again. Juan Palacios has been playing pro basketball since 2008, still going strong, still winning championships, still winning MVP. He's probably the most successful on the court Louisville basketball player of the last 20 years because he's the only one that's still playing. I mean, Sosa's still playing a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Even a guy that we claim for ourselves, Dante Smith, he played his last pro season this past summer. He's actually coaching at Seneca High School now, which I just found that out today. I didn't know that. So shout out to him. They're actually playing right now against Western or PRP1. Would Nolan play? I don't think so. I think here's the situation. If Nolan is still on staff here, they're not going to let him play. If he's gone, it's because he wants to get the heck out of here as fast as possible because of the way he's been treated. So I don't think he would play. He offered last year if they didn't have enough players to play, but I mean, it was one of those things where like he wasn't really going to play, but he was like, hey, if y'all need, but then we got Dow and Mayo and that one other kid to commit to play in, and we rounded it up. We're not going to have any kids that are not from U of L this year. We're going to have enough players to know that roster. Now, maybe we invite them to be on the team since they were last year already. I don't know.
Yeah.
This just happened this morning, so we'll see. What's Dingadell up to these days, Anthony? I do not know.
Huh?
That's a good question.
I forgot about old Dingadell and Jalen Johnson and them.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson.
Oh, that's another good name. Mm-hmm. Another guy we could see come home too that we played against last TBT. Good old Chris Jones.
Chris Jones. Look, I'm about to throw another one out there. What about? I forgot who I was going to say. So you said Chris Jones and Jalen Johnson.
Dingadell.
Who? Oh, El Hadi Muhammad. He's still playing at a good, and he's training training with his nephew who plays for Notre Dame. We'll get to see him tomorrow night. Sir Muhammad. He was a 5-star prospect that we somehow didn't even recruit. Thanks, KP. He was a French 5. Like he was in 2 of the publications, he was a 4. 2 of them, he was a 5. So when you rounded it out, he was just under a 5, barely. But great talent there. Yeah, there's a variety. I mean, I could sit here and name Jerry Smith. He's not overseas anymore. He played his last season this last year. Ray Spalding, Chad. I think. Didn't one of y'all mention Ray Spalding a few minutes ago?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
He's back from that ACL.
He's still hooping in the G League too. I saw some highlights of
Yeah.
him the other day. There's not any. Here's the thing, y'all. There's not any wrong answers.
No.
All right. So, like we do on the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, I might ask everybody for their little final thoughts and words. Again, really quickly, shout out to everybody that's watching the show. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Y'all still rocking with us. We appreciate it. Sunday, episode 201 of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, 2 p.m. We will recap the Notre Dame game. We'll recap women's basketball from Sunday. We'll talk about this week. The baseball season hadn't started out quite like we wanted to. Lost the first 2 games, and then the third game got rained out 2 or 3 days in a row, so they canceled it. Robbie, I see you. Siva Smith, Shane Trez, Anawaku, Dow. He just put like 42 people in there. Yeah.
He said I added a third.
Dow, Ryan McMahon, Chris Jones. Yes, I added a third. And you had the right to, man. You've been rocking with us since the days of the Cardinal Pulse, man. Way back in the day. I shared a video of one of our old shows because they're, again, I want to shout these guys out. Let me grab my phone real quick so I can say their names appropriately. Caleb Land, Riley Hemmer, and Nick Zanetti. They're students at U of L, and today they released a segment. It was shared by Go Cards called the Cardinal Pulse. And if y'all follow me, follow my journey, follow my trials through media here in Louisville, you know that the very first show that me and Steve sat out on our own video show was called the Cardinal Pulse. I came up with the name, the logo, the music. I paid for the intro music. I did much like I did with CSZ because nobody ever wants to pitch in on anything with me. Shout out to Sam and Sean, you cheapskates. But no, they're resurrecting the Cardinal Pulse, and they're doing it their way. And it's interesting stuff, man. I think the University of Louisville needs to do more stuff like this, so that way they can kind of take the power of the haters on some of the local radio. They can take the power away from them, because U of L, if they create something like this to where they're doing this type of stuff on campus, then you don't have to worry about people being hateful, because you can give them all the exclusives. You can give them all the stuff. And again, shout out to Nick and Caleb and Riley. I'll do. I know that Riley, she does some sideline work for the ACC network. I'm trying to look really. I know Caleb does a little bit too, and Nick is a ACC network broadcast intern. So he's all 3 of them great people. I follow them. I shouted them out early. So if you want to follow them as well and get their updates on the new thing that they're doing, lift them up. That's what we do around here. We lift people up. We don't push people down. That's another big difference between our show and other shows. We don't really hate on anybody. Shout out to Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage, my guys. They don't do that on their show either. We just try to lift people up here. Again, my cousin Jonathan and his student Joe Decker, I think his name is. Shout out to them. They're trying to start something new up down at Edmonson County, and I feel like that's going to be a hit because they really have a monopoly down in that area. And Jonathan knows a lot of people. Like, my family is well known in that county. My uncles, my grandmother, it's a small county. So anytime anybody does something big in a county, that's not that. There's one high school in that county. So everybody's families grew up with each other. So he knows everybody. I think that's going to be the deciding factor to make this venture a hit. And yes, I'm trying to put my irons in there because I want to be a part of his success, because I believe in him. I believe in the format, and I think it's going to be something real big. Higgy, we're going to go to you first for the last words. If you're done chewing, your last words for the evening.
Go Cards and beat Notre Dame.
Okay, Jeff.
I want to say, if you can, get out and enjoy that baseball game. Go right across the street, get you some Burnos. Go to the basketball game. And then also, I just want to express how excited I am about the TBT, because it gives us something to do over the summer during that dead period. I know we'll have football, Portal Talk, spring games, but it's always a bonus if you can get some extra basketball in, especially where we know, we can actually we're not in rebuild mode in the TBT, so we can expect at least a few wins.
Absolutely. Almost calling Jeff again. Wes?
I think Jeff pretty much closed it out perfectly. I was going to say tomorrow, 64 degrees. Get out to that baseball game, make a day out of it, go to Bear Nose, get you some good food, head over to the Yum. Good times, good people. Make a day of it. Get out and have some fun, man.
Good
Play
times,
cards.
great people, even better pizza. I think that used to be a Papa John's tagline, but we're going to take it for Bear Nose. Higgy, really quick, before I get my last words. Say that word that's on the screen right now.
Duquesne.
Okay.
Nah.
Now he says it right. The last time he said Duquesne.
What did he say? DeQuincy last time?
Yeah, DeQuincy. Hold on.
Nah.
With one
Ducasse or something like.
I bet he knows this word. Also bet I misspelled it.
Rotisserie.
I knew you know that word. And I know it's misspelled too. My fingers get typing so fast on the computer. Here's my last words. Again, I want to make sure if you are somebody in the area that are aspiring to do podcasting or blogging or anything like that, make sure you hit me up. Like I'm doing with, I know they didn't mention this, which normally I would blame it on them for not doing it. But Wes and Jeff are part of a space on Twitter. It's the Power 10 podcast. Or Power 10 space, and they've been doing a little stuff, and I've been trying to do a little bit of mentoring with them and stuff
For
like
sure.
that, because I got love for them. I've been doing that with my cousin as well. I just want to see us all get better and all have a good platform. This is Albert's first time I'm going to be able to see the outro video. Okay, cool. But again, for the people of the Cardinal Pulse, the new Cardinal Pulse, and I think we settled on, where is it at? The Wildcat Alley, which is going to be the name of the streaming show that Jonathan and Joe roll out. And for Power 10 or anybody, make sure if you all want an opportunity, that's what this is not our, and when I say this, people are going to be like, oh, you're not professional. This isn't our professional show. This is our laid back, shooting the bull, practice, because Wes and Jeff want to work on their craft. Higgy gets better when he has more practice. So that's what we're doing here. That's why I want guys like Joe Decker to come on here. That's why I want Caleb and Nick. Sorry, frog in my throat. Caleb and Nick and Riley to come on here. Earlier in the season, who from the basketball team, Olivia did the show. Who was on with Olivia Cochran? Was it Nyla Harris? Like they both have talked about getting some practice, doing some talking and stuff like that, so we can have them on later in the year. Carrito said, y'all deleted my comment. LOL. No, didn't delete any comments. We don't even know how to delete comments on here. So
Yeah, I was about to say, how you do that?
I was going to say, we didn't even
Rito,
report the chat either.
Just leave it at that. Rito, we love you.
Yeah, we love you too, Rito. Nyla is a beast. She absolutely is. And we're gonna anybody that wants an opportunity to come on and just practice or get some practice time. This is a place for you all. Again, I'm not one of these people that want to hold people down. You're not going to ever hear us talk about any of the other radio hosts in here too, because at the end of the day, there's enough for all of us to eat. Even when Higgy's around, there's enough for all of us to eat here in the game. And there's no need to be hateful or be a douche or anything like that. So you won't be hearing any of that kind of stuff from us. We're here to lift everybody up. If you're interested in coming on and jumping on a show, let me know. We do have a group chat for people, a talent pool. We've just not had anybody else be available to hop on here and talk with us. Maybe next week we'll be able to have Shelby or T. Will hop in here, or what y'all call him? KSR Bell,
KSR Bell,
Bath Sauce Bell. Yeah, we built destroy. Absolutely.
Today's his birthday too.
Happy birthday,
sure
J
is.
Bell.
Hey, can I say one more thing too, Jeremy?
Yeah.
First off, I want to, I guess, to give my vote to Nyla Harris and Brandon Huntley Hatfield as two of the most improved players in the ACC this year.
Yes.
Must be said, must be done. Power teams.
Yes, sir. Hey, and something I wanted to throw in because I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow. Shout out to our guy Shelby Green. I know said he was gonna hold a space tonight or
I
tomorrow.
think it got canceled though.
Oh, it got
Yeah, I
canceled.
think he said something came up, so he canceled it.
Look, all you
Oh,
got to do
okay.
is just follow our timelines. We'll retweet all that stuff. If
Yeah.
somebody we want to help get some listens, and again, not everybody's gonna like. As my guys over at the Power 10 podcast learned this week, not everybody's gonna like what you do. You're still gonna have
No.
supporters. You're still gonna have haters. I know there's a mindset out there currently too that we want more haters so people talk about us more. That's not always the way to go. And I don't think it's it was supposed to be tonight, but he canceled, said Rito.
Okay.
I see a lot of like I wouldn't fool with anybody I didn't see talent in, and I see a lot of potential with the guys at Power 10. I see a lot of potential with the Cardinal Pulse kids, and I see a lot of potential in my cousins showing stuff. So again, we're gonna keep supporting everybody. We'll retweet it. I guess my final words are: it costs absolutely no money to be a nice person. Try to be cool, try to be nice, try not to get your shoes taken off your feet on the way home from work. Try not to be a West Keys.
Don't. I knew it was coming. Don't you do
Listen, I'm not trying to say you look like you got your hairline with the Etch-a-Sketch, but I'm not saying that.
it. And we're back to this, ladies
So
and
if I
gentlemen.
grab your head and shake it, will your hairline straighten out?
Mike.
Hit him with that outro.
Wait a
Mike,
minute. What are you laughing at here? You got the Eddie Munster going on.
Of course.
we can't see Jeff's hairline because he keeps it under the hat.
Brother to brother in the building, my guy. Man, appreciate you
Yo,
hopping in and joining us. Look, it's all about jokes. It's all about love. It's all about lifting everybody up.
I
I
ain't,
know y'all
yeah, I
think
ain't
I'm
got no
hard on
cut. That's why I got to keep the hat on. I'll be back home.
Look, I got my hat on. I ain't taking it off so y'all can make fun of my hair. No. But no, it's all about, like I said, it's all about supporting each other. It's all about love. It's all about having fun. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I want to make sure that I have got all the we're ready for more TBT. Oh, okay, it's just the regular. I'll repost it. It is what it is. I think y'all are going to be surprised, and I want y'all to hang on. The people that are here, I want them to hang on so I can holler at y'all afterwards. I think y'all are going to love what the TBT has coming for y'all. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a great summer. I think it'll be a good either because here's how the summer's going to go. Either we're going to have a complete coaching overhaul and team overhaul, because I'm telling you this, I don't think a new coach keeps but about 2 or 3 of these guys that are on the team now. So it's either going to be commitment, new coach all summer, TBT to take our mind off all that, or it's going to be people complaining about Kenny getting a 3rd year, and then we had this take our mind off that. So either way, it is what it is. I do want to also really quick, I know we're trying to get off here. We're at the 1.5-hour mark almost. I want to give a big shout out to brother because not only have they been has he been grinding for a long time. I know that since the pandemic, I believe we lost one of the brothers, and I absolutely loved what they did. I've always been a big supporter of them. Shout out to them, much love, and anytime I can help anybody out with anything podcast or even I mean, I don't want anybody to hit me up so they can so I can cash app them money for their medicine or anything. But anything else I can do, I'll do it. And love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Until next week, again, next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. live with 55 this Sunday right after the basketball game. It's the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm Jeremy. He's Wes. He's Jeff. He's Higgy, and his hair slicked back a little bit. This has been Live with 55 on the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast Network. Hit the music.
We throw them L's and you take them home. When they ring the bells, you know that it's home. The bar is set, we setting the tone. If we set it, then set it in stone. Sit in the seat and set up your phone. You in the Cardinal Sports Zone.